Wase, my beautiful people, this is your boy Stefan, your Afro-Grenadian ambassador. My apologies for keeping you all waiting for quite a bit there. Was trying to get something sorted out, but it's nice and it's a pleasure to have you guys here with us today. And this morning on my side of the world, I don't know what time is it on your side of the world, but good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching me from. Today we're going to be having a very serious conversation, special conversation on the Black Jesus. You know, we all have been hearing about the Black Jesus. Jesus is black, Jesus is black. And, you know, all what they told us about Jesus is white was false and fake. And we are trying to get clarity. I am trying to get clarity about this Black Jesus. And with me today, I have seen it fit to bring on a brother who I believe, will help us understand this narrative, and he will give us his opinion about the Black Jesus. And it is no one else but Leviticus. So I will bring him on with me, joining us from Kenya. Welcome, my dear friend. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, okay, welcome to the live. Yes, guys, Leviticus, you know, have a YouTube channel, talk show. He have started recently, and he is a Pan-African. Well, he has just joined the Pan-African movement. So we are happy to have him on board with us, and he speaks a lot of, you know, political issues and all and other things. But today, you know, I brought him on to speak about the Black Jesus and give us his opinion about Black Jesus. So, welcome, my dear friend. How are you doing today? Are you?
Yes, I'm very fine.
Okay, all right. And so I will go straight down to. Okay, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Okay.
I can hear you. Though, yeah,
All right.
I
So
can hear
yes,
you.
yes, I'm hearing you clearly. Yes. So I will go straight down to the whole. You know, the essence of the conversation, the main conversation that we are here on today about the Black Jesus. You know, there's a lot of debates about that Black Jesus. But first of all, I want to hear your thoughts about, you know, Africa and religion. What are your thoughts about the religion in Africa? Is it dividing Africa more than anything else, or is religion doing Africa any good? Are you there?
Pardon.
You didn't hear me? Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you pardon, please?
Okay, all right. So you want me to repeat myself?
Yeah. Sure.
So I was asking about religion. First of all, before we go delve into Black Jesus, I was asking about religion. And what are your thoughts about religion in Africa? You know, is the religion doing Africa and Africans any good, or is it dividing the continent more and more? What are your opinion on that? Your mic is muted.
Yeah. I don't know if I got you clearly because there is. I think there is. We are low on network, but in Africa there is many religions, and as obvious, we have main religions in Africa. Maybe let's talk about Islamic religion and maybe Christianity. Those are the biggest religions we're having in Africa, amongst others. And we are told that before the coming of maybe Christianity as a religion, Africa had religion. Like there was a way they used to maybe to worship something like that. So from what we're hearing is that what Africans are doing right now, we are worshiping a white man's way, claiming that maybe Christianity is a white man's way of worship. It's not maybe an African way of worship. So they're saying we had left our ways of worship. But I think um, in Africa right now, traditional ways of worship, I think they are no more.
So, what are the white man's way of worship and the African way of worship? Can you elaborate on that for us?
Okay. Kindly. Okay. Personally, I don't have a clear. Okay. So this is from the view of people, not from me personally. From the view of people, Christianity came by a white man. From people's perspective and people's view, they say that Christianity came with a white man. And before the coming of Christianity, we maybe our ancestors, they had a way of worship. There was a way they used to worship, maybe going and facing the lake, going to the mountain, something like that, and also maybe maybe rotating the trees, something like that. So maybe I would say those traditional way of worship of Africans, I would say they are maybe what they are called an African or maybe a black man way of worship, because what they say is that Christianity came with a white man. When there was a mission, the missionaries came to Africa. They began teaching us about the word and something like that. And so Christianity, according to the view of people, is a religion that came with a white man. So it definitely becomes a white man way of worship. That's according to people.
Okay, that's according to people.
Yeah.
So that religion we call Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, over the years, you have been on the continent. Have you seen
Yes.
it done anything good for the continent, or is it doing bad things more than good things for the continent and the people of Africa?
Christianity.
Christianity.
Okay. It's very hard to elaborate on that, but what I want to say and what what I want to talk about on just the question you have asked, um, it has been for a very long time we have not been able to actually know if there is, because it is recently, not long time ago, when I began seeing the let me say, maybe, what do I say, like, we used to to know about African way of worship. Okay, we didn't know about African way of worship. We grew up, and when we grew up, we found Christianity. So when I was born, I found Christianity, and all these times we have been calling ourselves Christians. Okay, so personally, I know God. Okay, and I go to church, and my belief as a Christian, the belief that I have been having for all these times, have helped me so much. And I believe that, when we talk about Christianity, we talk about religion. But when we talk about Christianity, we talk about religion. There are two kinds of people. We have a Christian and we have a believer. So when you are a Christian, you are just someone, just like an is an Islam, just like a Hindu, okay, just like any other person who dwells in any other religion.
Okay.
And so when we're talking about Christianity, is a religion. When we talk about Christians, we're talking about people who falls under a certain religion. But when we talk about believers, we're talking about different people. So there, according to me, there is a difference between a believer and a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
a believer and an Islam, a believer and a Hindu. Because now, when you are a Christian, it simply means you are just under a certain religion. But when you are a believer, it means you're believing in something. So you are under a religion which is Christianity, but again, there is something you're believing in. I cannot tell you that Christianity has helped Africa, or rather has changed things in Africa, because a religion cannot change something. Being a Christian, or rather being an Islam, can, maybe it has turned people. The only influence it has brought, maybe it is separating people. Religions, the biggest achievement of religion, it has separated people. It has placed people in different denominations. Like, for example, someone is living from a place of being a Christian to a place of being an Islam, in the name of maybe Islamic religion is better than a Christian religion. Or rather, someone is living from a place of being an Islam, maybe shifting to becoming a Christian because he thinks Christianity as a religion is better compared to an Islam. Islam as a religion. So the best and the biggest achievement of religions, let's not talk about Christian alone. Like, the best achievement of religion in Africa, it is just maybe to bring a certain kind of people together. It has brought maybe a certain kind of people together, or rather, it has separated people and placed people in a different places. Because it being a religion, there are people who want to be Christians, there are people who don't want to be Christians. So the moment it exists, it changes things. And I cannot say maybe Christianity has brought any achievement in Africa, or rather anywhere else.
Okay. So my question would be to you: what, since Christianity have not brought any achievements to Africa, what are some of the things that you consider that will be essential part of Africa achieving her true potential? What are some things we need to focus on at this present moment in this period of time that we are in? Which I think is a critical moment right now. The world is significantly changing. What are some things our leaders and as Africans on the continent, in and outside of the diaspora, should be coming together, uniting over, and focusing on?
All right. When we talk about maybe the things we're supposed to focus on as Africans to change, is that the question?
Yes.
That the things, what are the things we're supposed to do as Africans? Okay, on the part of religion, or overall? Overall, okay, right. So Africa is a big continent. Africa is a very huge continent. It's a blessed continent. It is a continent that is capable. It is potential. It has potentials, and it's a continent that can that should be known. It should be understood by the world. It should be understood everywhere, with every person, with every country, with every nation, with every continent. We are bigger ourselves. We are huge ourselves, okay? And so, despite the fact that we are big and we are huge, as you can see as Africans, as you can see the continent and the countries in Africa, we still have a long way to go. So the question remains, why are we calling ourselves bigger? Why are we calling ourselves huge, but still we are far from being big? Because you will realize that when you go out there in foreign countries, talk of maybe the United States, and talk of the countries like France, the Europe countries, and all those countries that are not in Africa, you will realize that we are very far from being a great continent. We are still very far. And being very far, it is not that we cannot be able to compete with them, we cannot be able to be where they are, but it's because we lack some things. And it's because there are some things we are not doing them right. There are some things we are not working them right. It is not about the people. Because right now, if you walk here in Africa and ask every individual, would you like Africa to be like other continents? Talk of maybe continents like Asia and like the continents of Europe. Everybody will tell you, I want Africa as a continent to be like those continents. Which means it is not about the people, it is about the systems of governments, of governance, it is about the systems of leadership that we are having. It would be about the people. Africa would have changed a long time ago. Every person, every citizen from every countries of Africa, they are craving for change. They are craving for liberation. They are craving for greatness. They want to look like those countries. Citizens, people from Africa, they want to wake up one day and feel like and see people from those countries, from the countries, from the Europe continent, are also coming to Africa in search of jobs. They are also coming to Africa because in
Just,
their countries they cannot
just
do.
before just stick up in there, I want to welcome all the viewers. Thank you
Okay.
for watching me. Thank you for joining this live, this important discussion. We are talking about religion and Africa on a general scale. So those of you who may want to contribute, you may want to ask Leviticus some questions about Africa. You can dial in. I have the link on the screen display. If you can mute your camera if you don't want to be on camera, or you can text in whichever way you're comfortable. So we are not just I'm not just interviewing Leviticus, but it's an engagement. So feel free to engage in the conversation. All right, so Leviticus, just don't forget what you just said. But I want to say this: as we talk about the systems that we need to tackle, that are the problems, the system that is governing the continent of Africa. Do you think that religion is one of those systems that have contributed to the corruption and the how to say? I mean, I don't like to say the continent is poor because Africa is not poor, but the reason why Africa continues to be at the mercy of other people, exploit other nations, other people come in and exploit the continent. Do you think that religion is one of those systems that is contributing to the corruption that is going on the continent? Well, and when I mean the corruption, I'm talking on a governmental level, among our leaders.
All right. Okay. Talking of okay. Let me continue from where I had left, and then I'll come and tackle the part of religion. Yeah. So you know, we are first of all, you said that you don't want to say Africa is poor. I'll maybe this is my perspective. Let me say this: it is you shouldn't. Nobody right now should be fearing, or rather should fear to say that Africa is poor, because in real sense, and it is true, Africa is poor. There is poverty in Africa, a very big poverty, a very huge poverty. In Africa, there is poverty.
Okay,
Poverty.
somebody's asking this question.
And
Did he say Africans want to live like the West or just look like the West? That's a question somebody's asking.
Okay, we Africans don't want to live like the West, and Africans don't want to look like the West. Africans want to live like Africans, but we are not even living like Africans, because if we were to be living like Africans, we should be looking better than how the West is looking like. Listen, we have a lot of things, and we have big things here in Africa that even the West people do not have. We have a lot of like we have a lot of I don't know how to put it, but we are better than the West. We should be better than them because we have everything that can make us better than the West. I'm telling you the truth. But we are not better than the West. We are not even near or close to the West because we have a problem in Africa, a very big problem. Because if it's about comparing ourselves by the West, right now as we are talking, we are very far. We are really far from being even close to them. But if we were to live the way we should be, if we were to live as Africans and govern ourselves and focus on our issues, not engaging in the issues of the white people, we are supposed to be very far away from them, far away from them. Because I normally say that Africa is the mother of the world. Africa should be called the mother of the world. Because for a country like the United States to be where it is today, it's because of Africa. For a country like France to be the way it is today, it is because of Africa. Those Western countries, they do not have things that Africans have. The land of Africa is blessed. The land of Africa has got a lot of things within it. Within our boundaries in Africa, we have anything we can, like we have everything we want within the boundaries of Africa. But the problem is one, the system of governance.
Yeah.
The leaders we are having are the biggest problem we have. Here in Africa, we have a country that is outstanding. It's called.
We are clear enough on that when it comes to bad governance. I mean, we can safely say that one of the reasons why Africa there is poverty when there shouldn't be. There is poverty in Africa. Many nations in Africa are underdeveloped, and it's because of bad governance. But
exactly.
why there continue to be a repetition? Every election that comes every election that every African nation has, right?
Yes.
There continue to be that cycle, that pattern repeating itself. We continue to elect bad leadership over and over and over again. What is this the root cause of the problem? Is it the people that, or I mean, yes, the leaders, but can we partly blame ourselves as well? Because we have the power. They will not be in there without us, and we are the ones to decide who are good and who are bad. But we see a pattern where many times, not only in South Africa but many other black nations, especially some that we have that issue, some of these issues here in the Caribbean as well. We continue to put bad leaders there, that has the same old policy, nothing new, nothing new. So can we partly blame ourselves and say, yes, it's our leaders, but we need, as a people, we need to change our mentality, when it comes to electing these leaders. And we should not elect our leaders based on feelings, who we like, who is, I have seen this pattern, like we put leaders there because they are from our community, they are from our tribe, and it's because of partiality and how we feel, rather than thinking through the issues and putting people there who we see fit. It doesn't matter if they are from our tribe, if they are from our community or village or whatever it is. So what would your response what your response would be on that?
Can I tell you something, brother?
Mm-hmm.
There is something that many people don't understand.
Yeah.
There is something that many people don't know, they don't understand. I don't know if they are going to understand anytime soon, but there is something that many people do not understand. In Africa, people have power, and that is why we have democracy. But one thing that we don't understand is that Africa does not rule itself. Every country of Africa, the only one country in Africa that rules itself right now is Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
The rest of the countries in Africa, they don't rule themselves. They are not ruling themselves. I can tell you that for a fact, without fear of contradiction. In the countries that are in Africa today, every country, apart from Burkina Faso, they are not ruling themselves. We are being ruled by unknown people. We are being ruled by unknown systems. We are being ruled by unknown government. So the picture of the of the rulers, or maybe the picture of the government, is the picture of your country. For example, we are choosing a government.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Kenyan. Here in Kenya, we have a president. He's called Mr. William Ruto. William Ruto is our president, but William Ruto is not the person who is ruling this country.
Yes.
Somebody is ruling Kenya under President Ruto. And that is why when they say, do this, he does. Do this, he does. Sometimes these leaders, they even make decisions that they haven't decided themselves. But someone is making decisions for them and is forcing them to follow the decision. Okay? Now, you said people have power, and therefore people are supposed to decide who is going to be their leader. They should choose their leaders regardless of the interests, the love they have to that leader. They are supposed to choose the right leader, not the leader they love. Let me tell you something. Let's take a country like South Africa. We have someone called the president of South Africa right now is called Ramaphosa, but the opposition is called Julius Malema. Julius Malema in South Africa is a darling of the people. Everybody loves Julius Malema. Everybody. When that guy decides to step on the street right now, you will see the street having people in full because they love that guy. But when it comes to elections, you will realize someone, even the statistics before the election, every statistics will say that Julius Malema is going to win the elections. But after the elections, you will realize he will not be the person who will win the elections. Why? We people from Africa, we have power to elect our leaders.
Because I was surprised. I mean, that's a good example you are bringing there, because, I mean, Julius Malema has a lot of supporters.
Exactly.
I myself was convinced he would have taken the presidency this election that have gone there. But
exactly,
it's after the election, it's like something was off. Something, sabotage this whole election that went in South Africa. And I was wondering, with all this support, Malema still wasn't able to secure the presidency. So I'm just saying all this to say that you are on point with what you are saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
We are, as I was saying, Julius Malema is like a leader, like a Pan-Africanist, something like that. And every person who calls himself a Pan-Africanist, I'm telling you the truth, will not be loved by the West countries. Because when you are a Pan-African, you are fighting for issues and matters of Africa. You are fighting for your continent. You are fighting for Africans. You are defending Africa. You are talking about Africa. You are revealing the things that are supposed to make Africa a great country. That is being a Pan-Africanist. Okay? And anybody who behaves like that will not be allowed by the Western country to become the leader. Because as much as people in Africa, we have power, and we are being subjected to a democracy which is not there. We are being subjected. We are being told that we are having a democracy, an invisible democracy. It is a democracy by name, but in real sense, that democracy is not there.
That's definitely true. That's true.
So we are being pampered by the way that you are going to vote for your leader, but your leader will be chosen by someone else who is unknown. Someone if they come to realize, or maybe if they realize that you are having, or maybe you have a heart, or maybe you're going to be someone who is not going to align with what they want you to do, definitely they are going to block you to become the leader of a certain country. And that is what happened in South Africa. That is what happened with Julius Malema.
So
They want
what
a
is it?
person.
What is it? What you know? We see that a lot of our leaders are becoming and have been puppets of the West. It is they are the ones, most of our leaders. And when I talk about leaders, I'm not only talking about those who are on the continent that you are on, right? All our African leaders, even in the diaspora. We have Caribbean leaders here as well that are, puppets of the West. And they are there as a form of representation for the people, but in reality, they are not representing the people. They should be serving, but they are representing the people that is, paying them or whatever it is. They are working for the Western imperial people. What can be done? That is the whole thing about it. What can be done? What is it we need to do to change this? What can be done? Because at the end of the day, we keep talking about their puppets, and it's true. But what can be done? Who has that power to change this? What is the solution to this? So that we can get leaders like Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso, leaders like him that will be there for the people, who will be true leaders that will develop the people rather than pocketing them, filling the pockets and serving the Western powers. What we need to do? What is it we need to do? Because we have generations after us. We will have to give an account to, because we don't want a generation that is coming after us, because in the future you're going to have children. I have children on my own, and I don't want my children come to me, Papa, Dada, Father, whatever they want to call, you have been an advocate, a Pan-Africanist, you have fought, but why we still have this problem on our hands? Why now we have to come to deal with this? What is it we need to do so that our next generation will be able to enjoy the fruit, the results that we are working so hard and we are fighting so hard for now?
Yeah, the solution will come, but the solution can only come if we decide. And it is not we who are deciding. It is one person. The solution will start with one person. That individual person, that one person who is accepting to be manipulated and to be asked and told what to do. And the solution is easy. The solution is there. We only need to cut ties with the West countries. We cut ties with a white person and we decide to lead ourselves. It is a matter of decision. And the problem we are having is we have politicians who are very greedy. Now, when you are a politician, you will be greedy. When you are a politician, politics is a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game. That's why we call it politics, because it's a dirty game. And any person who is still a politician will still mess Africa. And so we really need to step out of being politicians and start being leaders. Because in Africa, we only have one leader. Ibrahim Traoré is a leader to check, is a leader to watch. That is the only leader we know. The rest are politicians. And when they are politicians, we are going to continue being in the same predicaments, in the same misfortunes, time and again. So it starts by one person. Number one, it's the only thing that is going to make this difficult is the fact that a president feels like when he cut ties with a white person, he's going to be destroyed, or rather, he's going to be poor, because these people secures you, They protect your interest. They make sure your pockets are good, are well. They make sure you have money. They make sure you have everything you need. And so you don't care about the people. You care about yourself. So you stop caring about the people. You start caring about yourself. When you start caring about yourself, you forget there are people behind you who are supposed to do what? Who are supposed to, you are supposed to help. And so it starts by one person, because all of us cannot be presidents of Kenya. All of us cannot be presidents of Nigeria. All of us cannot be presidents of Ghana. All of us cannot be presidents. One person will become the president. Now, we are electing leaders. The problem is not about electing leaders. We are electing leaders because these leaders, we don't have our eyes of seeing a leader and saying, this is a good leader. When we elected William Ruto here as a president in Kenya, when he was in campaigns, he looked like a very good person. He spoke well. He was very intelligent. He gave us like promises, and he was very nice, a nice person. And everybody said, wow, this is a leader to watch. Nobody, you would tell someone, this guy will come to change someday. People will say, no, 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 no. You know, this guy cannot change. The way this guy is speaking is a very good person. Look at him. Look at the way he's narrating his story. Look at the way, in fact, he's a hustler. He's someone who has come from a very low background. And if we want a good leader, William Ruto is a leader to go for. He gave us promises. Within 3 months, within 1 year, Kenya was in shambles. Kenya was in shackles. And so, we people who are supposed to make a change, when these people come to us, they come to us as good people. And they present themselves to us as good people. They convince us. When we go to the ballot, we are going to the ballot saying William Ruto is a president. We're going to vote into government. When we vote them into government, they change. So we may not be able to know if these people will change or if they will not change. So that is why I'm saying a change will start by a one person, a single person. Like, for example, change in Burkina Faso did not come by people. People did not vote Ibrahim Traore into government. Yeah. Traore woke up one day and decided to go and take over the government because he felt like the government is incompetent. The government is not doing what its people want it to do. The government is irresponsible. So he woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm going to take over this government. And he had the power. It only needs someone who has power, or a leader who really loves his nation, who really loves the people, can wake up one day like Thomas Sankara. Let's talk about people who have tried to do great things in Africa. It takes one person. You just need to have a heart of leadership, integrity. You really just need to have that heart within yourself. Okay? So it's not about elections. It's not about people choosing, because if it's about democracy, democracy is no more. There is no democracy.
That's true.
There is no democracy. Because even today, right now, as I'm talking to you right now, Kenya is a democratic country. Kenya, I like using an example of Kenya because Kenya is my country and I know more about Kenya. Kenya is a democratic country. Many countries in Africa, they call themselves democratic countries. South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, all these countries, they call themselves democratic countries. What do we mean by democracy? By democracy, we mean someone is able, and someone has an opportunity, and he has maybe he has an opportunity to wake up in the morning and go and vote for the person of his own choice, or for the person of her own choice into government. That is what we call democracy. You have the power to choose whom do you want. Okay? And so we call ourselves democratic country, but like, for example, today, if we happen to have elections today in Kenya, everybody says Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go, everybody. But come 2027, when we are going to enter into elections, I'm telling you the truth, Ruto has got high chances of going back to the government. Do you know why? Because already right now he has the government. Even if you vote for his opponent, even if you wake up in the morning in big numbers and go and vote for Ruto's opponent, Ruto is likely to go back to the government. Do you know why? Because it's going to steal the votes and get back to the government. That is the same thing that happened in South Africa. Everybody would say Julius Malema is going to be the president, but within a spur of a moment, you realize that Julius Malema is not the president of South Africa. It is Ramaphosa is being announced as the president of Africa. Like, for example, here in Africa, 2022 elections were rigged. And that is now what we are saying. We do not have, Kenya is just called a democratic country, but that democracy is not there. We are just being blindfolded that we are a democratic country, but in real sense, there is not democracy. So people are not going to change what is happening in Africa. One person will change. It is not by voting. We have the freedom of choice. It is not by voting, I'm telling you. It is not by people. It is by one person. That leader needs to wake up one day and say, you know what, my people? I'm not going to engage with white people anymore.
Yeah.
You know what? I've decided I'm not going to tie with the West people, with a white person anymore. I want to work for my country. I want to work for Africa. I want to be like Ibrahim Traore. You see, it's a personal decision. Wake up one morning and say, no, I'm not greedy anymore. I want to work for my people because we are the people who placed them into government. Yeah. We gave them a work. We are their bosses. These people are our servants. They serve us. We are there.
Stick up in there. We will come right back to that. I just want to acknowledge Pansy Scale. Welcome all the way from Jamaica. And then we have Boom Jungle Wood all the way from my African American sister from the United States. And all the other viewers, thank you all for joining. So guys, if you have any questions to ask, if there's anything that you want to contribute, you can go ahead. And also, if you want to, come on screen and say something in regards to this discussion, you can, all you need to do is click on the link below and you can do so. So yes, my dear brother, of course, I think that it takes only one person to, change that system, that we call democracy, because as you show, right, democracy is losing its essence. And what we see the Western powers are doing, that they are the ones who love to advocate for democracy. Oh, democracy is under attack, democracy is under attack. And they are the very same ones, that are behind the mask of democracy, dictating, and carrying out their agenda by using our own people. So you are sure. I personally don't believe in the system of democracy. I think one of the reasons why there is this huge gap between the rich and the poor, the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer, is because of democracy. Because with democracy comes something like capitalism. And capitalism is a very competitive system. Only the strong survives. If you are not on the top, if you are not on top of the food chain, we don't say here in Grenada, crap or smoke your pipe. You are in big trouble. In Grenada, we had something called socialism. Maurice Bishop was one of our leaders that rise up and said, "Look, we stand up to the West." And he was a socialist leader, and socialism was doing very well for us. And then, the Americans came in and they bomb up places, and then they impose democracy on us. And even if Grenada is considered as a paradise, people come here, they like to go to and other Caribbean islands. We are underdeveloped. We are very much underdeveloped. And it's all because of this thing that we see the West continues to do, that when a nation is coming to a point where that nation don't need to depend on them anymore, they always intervene, sabotage, and cause chaos. So I want to ask you this question. Let's come back to Africa and religion. Is religion, and I think you said you had to respond to that, but all right, we have Sister Boom here on the live. Sister Boom, just hold there for me for a minute. Let me get you on screen. All right, so let's hear what Sister Boom have to say. All right, welcome, Sister Boom. Hello, are you hearing me, sister?
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Hi, I had a question. I'm having. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We're hearing you.
Okay, you mentioned kicking white people out of each country? And tell me, describe how that would work if you're sincere about that. I'm going to put my earbuds on. Hold on.
So Leviticus, I think that's a question for Leviticus, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Can
Okay.
you pardon, please?
Can you repeat the question, sister?
Yeah, certainly.
Yes. You had mentioned something about white people in Africa and kicking them out of the countries and not working with them. How do you think that can happen? What does that look like?
Can you pardon again? I'm finding it difficult to hear you.
Okay.
Just I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
She asked, you mentioned about kicking white people out of Africa, how this will happen, how this looks like, how this is possible. That is what she's asking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. We're hearing you. Can you hear? Can you hear? Are you hearing us? Okay, we're having a little bit of technical issues there. Your mic is muted. All right. Are you hearing?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I will give Sister Boom a chance again to repeat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Repeat yourself one more time. So, Sister Boom, you can go ahead. Sister Boom? Sister Boom, okay. So, Sister Boom, are you there? Are you hearing us? If you're speaking, your mic is muted. Okay. So, what Sister Boom is saying, she asked a question that you mentioned about kicking people out of white people out of Africa. How this will, she's asking the question, how this is possible, how this will work, how this looks like.
Oh, taking white people out of Africa.
Yes.
How is it possible?
How it is, yeah, how this is possible.
It's not possible. It is very hard. Because if it would be possible, many countries today would be free from the white people.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 54 countries we have in Africa, the only country right now that is free from the white people is Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Yeah. And it took one person to stand out and say, no, we cannot continue like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it is hard, and again, it is possible. It depends.
Okay, one moment. Yes, Sister Boom, thank you very much. We got your question. We got it loud and clear. So the brother is responding. So thank you very much for your question. All right. So guys, if you have anything you want to say, any question you want to ask, you can just stick a pin there for me a while. You can dial in. I have the link in the comment section. Dial in, and just like Sister Boom, she muted her camera and she made her contribution. So if there's anything you want to say, anything, you can join us on screen. You can go ahead and do that. All right. Yes, go ahead, my dear brother. Respond.
Okay.
My brother is not responding to the question that Mr. Boom asked. Yeah.
Now, it is possible if we are going to undertake some measures. It can only be possible if one person will wake up one morning and say, now today I don't want to tie myself with the white people anymore. It is possible if greedy is going to be out of ourselves, if you're going to do away with greedy. It is possible if we are going to have an interest of people. It is possible if we are going to crave or maybe to want to do better things or the right things. That is the only way it can be possible. But if you are comfortable as a leader, being manipulated and being asked what to do, being given directions, being given rules, and you follow, if you are comfortable with that, it's going to be very hard. It is going to be very hard. The problem we have is that I've said it and I'll repeat again, the problem we have is not the people, or rather the citizens. It's not the people of Africa. The problem we have are the leaders of Africa. Those are the problem. If we can have good leaders, if we can have leader like Ibrahim Traore, if we can have good leaders, it is very possible. It is very possible. It is not hard. If you can have leaders who have got the interests of Africa, it is very easy. If we can have leaders who wants to serve Africa, it is very easy, because a leader who wants to serve Africa will say, no, I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be led. I don't want to be told what to do. This is my country. I want to do what the people of my country want me to do. If we can have a good leader, a leader who will say, no, the resources we are having in Africa belongs to Africans. If they want to come for those resources, they must pay for it. They shouldn't. They're not supposed to take it for free. It is very, very possible. But when we are having leaders, those leaders who want to be taken care of by the white people, the leaders who wants their pockets to be full, the leaders who wants to be given something so that they can give their country away, it is going to be very hard. Yeah. You see? Like, for example, Ibrahim Traore just woke up and took over the government, and the first achievement, the first thing he did was to do away with France. The first thing he did was to do away with France and cutting ties with the bodies like ECOWAS, and you see those things. That was the first things he did.
And that, you know, that was very significant, because what I noticed he did, yes, he kicked out France, and soon after he kicked out France, he tackled the education system of the country. He started doing away with all the French, you know, I would say the French ideologies, and start re-implementing the African way of things. And that's one of the ways I think we can start decolonizing ourselves. The biggest way we can start decolonizing ourselves is doing away with the ideologies of the British and the French and the Dutch and the Spanish and the Portuguese. You know, these are the who, you know, I mean, all of us, we every Caribbean island, let me talk for Caribbean islands. Each Caribbean islands were colonized by different colonizers, you know, some of them different, some of them was the same, you know, some of them were different. But I think one of the ways we can do that, the example that we can take from Ibrahim Traore here, is that in order for us to change the, you know, we talk about colonized mentality a lot. You know, I talk about it as well. And that's one of the problems we have here in Grenada. A lot of our people are colonized in the mind. And if we could do away with that, we can be on our way forward in you know, rebuilding ourselves from what colonization have done. And one of the biggest way we can do that is doing away with the ideologies, just like Ibrahim Traore. So yes, my brother, you are so right. Go ahead.
You know, it can be, you know, this guy Ibrahim Traore was very clever, and he understood the assignment. He understood what he was going to do. And I can say, before even he got into government, he knew exactly, when I get to that government, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And he set himself and he said, when I get there, I'll go there and do 1, 2, 3. And he knew the first steps for him to be able to succeed, maybe to be able to implement every strategy that to implement everything that maybe he wanted to be in Burkina Faso. He had to come out with a strategy. He had to have a strategy. The strategy that he had was to do away with the ideologies of a foreigner, the ideology of a European. And you know, it was very easy. We wouldn't have been colonized here as Africans. It was very easy for Africans to be colonized, because when a white person came to Africa, number one, he came as a missionary, and he knew the easiest way I'm going to use to colonize these people is by implementing my ideologies in this country. In these countries, for example, we are speaking English. Even right now, we are speaking English. English is not our language. Here in Africa, or maybe the Eastern Africa, or rather East Africa, we have a language. We have Kiswahili as a language. Kiswahili is the language we are supposed to be speaking. Kiswahili is a language, an African language, is supposed to be spoken all over Africa. But all over Africa, we are speaking English. Even in schools, we go to schools, we have a subject called English. English was not our language from the beginning. English is a language that came by a European. It came by a white person. We started being taught English, and English became a language for us. And we began having systems of education, systems of education that were implemented by the European people. Okay, and so it was very easy for us to be colonized when those ideologies had been implemented here in Africa. And so this guy knew, if I'm going to do away with the ideologies of a white person, of a European, it's going to be very easy for me to be able to implement everything that I want to implement in this country, and it's going to do what? It's going to succeed. So, number one, let us live an African way. Let us live an African way. A Pan-Africanist Kenyan beast. I remember a time when he came with a word African way. Let us do things an African way because we are Africans. The moment we shall start doing things an African way, the moment we shall start doing things an African way is when we are going actually to change. Because you know, the European people, they are making life difficult for Africans. They are making life difficult for Africans. So when life is difficult for Africans, they know after life is difficult for us, we will go for them. We will run to them to go and ask for help. They are creating wars in Africa. They want us to fight. They are making life difficult for us so we can be able to fight. When we fight, they come in the Middle East in the name of bringing solutions. Okay? They want us to continue bowing down for them.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Finish what you are saying.
Yeah, they want us to continue bowing down for them. Okay, so they create a problem, they create a solution. They create a problem, they create a solution. Okay, Africans, we have debts. We've entered into debts. These debts, we are going to the IMF every time for loans. Every time for loans, we are holding ourselves captivities in these loans. Okay, because at the end of the day, there comes a time that we have to pay these loans. In Kenya, we have a military base, a US military base in Kenya. Okay, there is a US land in Kenya here. They want to add another military base here in Kenya. What is the military base doing in Kenya? We cannot complain. Why? Because if we complain and we owe these people a lot of money, they will tell us, why are you complaining and you have my money? You are complaining because of 1, 2, 3. You have my money, you have not yet paid. You see, we are into captivity. It's like we are prisoners.
Yeah.
Into a white man's hands. So we have the potential and the opportunity. We are capable of creating money, of making money from within our boundaries without going out and borrow money from these people. But we cannot do that because these people have brainwashed our minds to an extent. We are not seeing the wealth that we are having. We are blind to see the wealth we are having within our boundaries. The moment we are blind, they came and take that wealth into their countries. They turn that wealth into they make that wealth, they paint that wealth into something good. Then after a period of time, we begin craving for the wealth that was taken from Africa to a white man country. It has been created, it has been made in a good way that it is now glittering. So we begin craving for them. And then we have to bow down so they can be able to assist us. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
When you come to Africa, you will realize that Africa mines gold. Yes. We have African countries that mines gold. Okay? But it is only in the it is only in a white man country where we have gold reserve banks. But there is no single country there that mines gold. All that gold that is being reserved in a white man country, they are being taken from Africa.
Yeah.
So we are the producers of gold, but they are the storers of gold. You see how we are being carried? Ibrahim Traore has come recently, within a very short time, a very short period of him in government. He has a gold reserve bank in Burkina Faso. This is a man who understands the assignment.
And I want
He
to ask you
understands.
that question. I want to ask you that question because I don't want us to divert too much away from what we have come to discuss today.
Yeah.
We have to come back to religion. It all stems back to religion. Do you think the church has to play a lot in this, what is going on in Africa? All what you have mentioned, do you think the church have a role to play in this?
The church has a big role to play. The church, if the church decides, if the church today decides to intervene, okay, the church have a role to play, but the same church is not playing the role that it's supposed to play. Now, let us divert a little bit and come back here on the issues and matters of religion. You know, sometimes it is very difficult to say, and it is very difficult to explain, but I thought from the beginning that the church was supposed to be something that is good, something that helps people, and something that make people be good, or rather bring solutions to the problems and all those sorts of things. But today again, the church is failing because even people do not have faith in the church. They don't even believe in the church, because churches today, they have been they are not churches anymore. They are houses of conmen and many other things.
Yeah.
So you realize that a very big problem is created because a place and a position where a church should stand, it is not there anymore, because even churches, they have been even manipulated.
Yeah.
People are even using church. You know, even a white man, sometimes I really tend to think they are using church to manipulate people. Because I've come across pastors who are saying, you know, a white person, you know, a black person is not so and so. A black person is you know, a black person cannot do this. A black person is not supposed to. And this is a pastor, someone who is supposed to maybe talk good things, or rather speak good things. Someone who is supposed to talk positively on issues like these ones.
This is a question I have. Oh, let me just highlight this for a moment. And this person says, and then there's a question I want to ask you. The same way it looks when they took us out of Africa, they are in Africa, conquer you all again, and history teaches us that every time they came, they destroyed Black Africa as a black man, it seems. Okay, that's plausible. That's true, Anthony Mason. On day one, Boom Jungle says the white man did not have anything. Day two, he owns the entire planet. If we figure out what happened, then we can correct things and improve life for our children in the future. That is true. That is true. We will come back to these comments. But I want to ask you this. As you mentioned earlier on, that the problem is not with the people of Africa, but it's with the systems, the politicians of Africa. Now, when it comes, can we say this? And let me hear what you have to say. Now, I have seen a lot of people. The Bible attacks the Bible. You know, a lot of people say the Bible is a wicked book. The Bible is one of the main reasons why Africa is in the condition that it's in today. But I want to. What would be your response? Do you think that the Bible is not the problem? It is man who misinterpreted certain contexts in the Bible.
Exactly. The Bible is not the problem. The problem is the person who is using the Bible to manipulate people. But the Bible is not the problem. These people used to say that when they were colonizing Africans, when they were beating up Africans and taking them through hell, they were telling them, you see, you need to respect your master. Because when these people came, we were illiterate as Africans. We didn't have education. We didn't know anything about education. We couldn't read. They were the ones who were teaching us. Okay? And sometimes I tend to think when the missionaries were coming to Africa, I think it was these white men. They used that opportunity as a good way to actually colonize us. Yeah. Okay, so they came, They decided they started teaching us. They started actually telling us what we are supposed to do. Even the Bible says this and this and this and this. They taught us the Bible. They taught us. They taught us. They taught us. They taught us. And through that, they began now, slowly by slowly, slowly by slowly, they began now colonizing us. Because the first white man who stepped into the land of Africa was a missionary. And from there, other people began coming. Oh, I have, someone is coming from a white man's land and coming to Africa and telling us, I have realized, I have discovered this, I have discovered this. No, but this thing is in my land. In my land, how can you come from a far country, a far continent? You're coming to my country telling me I have discovered this, and then whatever he has discovered, it is named on his name. This one was discovered by so and so. This one was discovered by so and so. And so we didn't understand because we did not have education. But I believe something that made these people took over us easily, it is because they got educated, they understood, they got an understanding before we got an understanding. Right now we are Pan-Africanists and we are talking about these things because we have the knowledge. That time, our ancestors did not have the knowledge, so they were overtaken easily. So the Bible was used. I cannot tell you that the Bible is bad, because if we decide to read the Bible with you today, from the first Genesis to Revelation, you will find in that Bible good things, better things that can change someone's life. We have used words from the Bible and we have transist our lives using the words from the Bible. So the Bible and the words written in the Bible is not bad. The person who is interpreting the Bible to us, or rather the person who is using the Bible to give us direction, is the bad person. Because he is interpreting the Bible to us in a different way, not the way it is supposed to be interpreted.
Okay, let me say this.
Itself as a book.
Yeah.
Itself as a book is something that really needs to change the lives of people. We have seen people changing, following the words that are written in the Bible.
Okay, stick a pin there. Black Geo, shout out to you, my dear brother. Yeah, it was unplanned, Black Geo, but sorry for the late notice. But next time, my brother, next time. He shout out. Black Geo is giving a shout out to Leviticus. So, guys, Leviticus have a YouTube channel. It's Leviticus Talk Show. Go ahead, subscribe to his channel. All right, he's a Pan-African himself, and he talks about other things. So go ahead.
It's an African live stream.
It's an African live stream. So go ahead, subscribe, give him the support. All right. So somebody has a question, a comment says, he said, which is you, he said Africans did not have education. That's a misnomer. Africans had a functioning spiritual culture. Education is why the world is in the shape it's in now. What would be your response to that?
Let me respond to this person. He's saying Africans, that I said Africans did not have education. That's a miss. I don't know what that.
I guess maybe,
Africans had a functioning spiritual culture. Education is why Africa is in the shape that it is right now. Oh, okay. Let me tell you something. Did you know the Bible? Let me ask you a question. Did you know about the Bible before the coming of the missionaries?
So Black Geo, not the Black Geo, but Boom Jungle.
We used to speak. Listen,
just stick up in there. Just stick up in there. So Boom Jungle Wood, I think you need to come back on screen and explain yourself, because this is a very provocative comment. So you need to come back and explain yourself. Let's hear what are your point of view. Big shout out to you, Kenyan Beast. I see you in the comment section below. Yes, big shout out to you. Kenyan Beast says Africa, we had education but not this advanced. Okay, so Kenyan Beast saying Africa had education but not in this advanced. So go ahead, my dear brother, Leviticus.
Okay. Let me tell you something. We lived within our means. I'm not saying that when I'm saying we didn't have education, I'm not saying that we didn't know. Okay, We had our ways of communication. We understood each other. We lived like Africans, African way of life. We lived an African way of life before a white man came to Africa. Okay? We didn't speak English. We didn't had this. We didn't. Okay. My question and my response was: we were able to to be manipulated easily because we didn't know. We didn't have an understanding
Of what?
the knowledge. You
Of
know, the
what?
knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the knowledge. We would have the knowledge. It would be very hard for these people to manipulate us, for these people to colonize us.
Yeah, and that is what I'm
Because
asking.
when,
That is
when
what
they
I'm
came,
asking.
when they came and they lied to us because we did not have the knowledge of to understand that these people are lying to us. It was very easy for them to colonize us. That is what I'm saying.
Because that
We
is what
didn't have that knowledge.
that is why I'm speaking on religion, because when the colonizers came, they came on a religious campaign. They took a religious approach because these people studied the African
Exactly.
people, and they understood that
Yeah.
African spirituality meant a lot to Africans, you know. And in order to
Exactly. Yeah.
captivate their minds, they came on a spiritual campaign. So that is what I'm asking. When
Bro-
you know, we have Boom Jungle Wood online. Boom Jungle Wood, I will get you on screen in a moment. When you say that we didn't have the knowledge, I am asking the knowledge of what? What is it we didn't have the knowledge of?
Exactly. We did not. We didn't have the knowledge of understanding that these guys. Okay. When the missionaries came, before they came, first of all, they knew Africans are into religion so much. They had studied us, they had understood everything we do, and they knew if we can go to Africa in using, like, in the name of we are going to spread maybe Christianity, or rather we're taking religion to them. We're going there in the name of religion. It's going to be very easy for them to sit down and listen to us. But these guys had studied Africa a long time ago. And can I tell you something? When these guys came to Africa, they knew what they were coming from. They were coming for. You cannot tell me that these people came to Africa and when they got to Africa is when they realized, oh, so in Africa we have this. So in Africa we have gold. So in Africa, no, they didn't realize after getting to Africa. They realized before coming to Africa. So when they were coming to Africa, they already knew what they are coming for. But ourselves, we didn't know that these the reason as to why these guys are coming to Africa is reason number one, reason number two, and reason number three. We didn't know. We
All right,
need
so,
themselves. They knew.
all right. So Leviticus, we have some people in the queue. Dial in. Let me get back Sister Boom on screen. Sister Boom, can you hear me? Welcome.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yes,
Can
go
you
ahead.
hear? Okay, so misnomer just means wrong word, and I'm not saying that's the wrong word. So I'm an American, as you can hear, and I'm somewhat studious, not the smartest person. And I know for a fact that Africans, being the first human beings on the planet, were functional prior to European culture dominating them. So what the white man taught you was redundant, unnatural, unholy culture. I want you to think of 1492, pan the world, and what the Europeans were doing was unusual. And instead of us looking at them as weirdos, we wanted to be like them. We have to stop wanting to be like them. Be like yourself. You are smart. Study what crosses your mind. Study, you can even idolize Chinese people. Why don't we idolize Chinese people? Why is everything about this white man? He's unnatural, he's unhealthy, he's destructive. You should never credit him with educating you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Boom Jungle Wood. Leviticus, your response.
Can you I didn't get her clearly. Can you at least yeah.
Okay.
I didn't got the
Well,
question yeah, clearly. Yeah.
basically what Boom Jungle was saying is that we want to imitate the West too much, and that is why the westernized people keeps interfering with our affairs, and we cannot reach our potential because we have to focus on who we are, where our values, and if that even applies to even Africans on the continent, because I am seeing a trend now and a pattern where a lot of Africans are now trying to imitate the Western culture. So, what will be your response to that?
On the part of wanting to imitate the Westerners too much, or the white person too much, it is true. Africans want to imitate the Western people too much, or maybe the white European too much. It's because we think Europeans are better than us. That is what we think. Um, uh, People who don't yet understand, people who are yet to understand that Africa is a great continent and Africans are great people, they still think that Europeans are better than Africans, and so that is why they want to imitate them so much. They think living like a European is better, and they think living like a European is an achievement. Okay, it only takes someone who has an understanding to know that being a European, or rather living like a European, is not an achievement. A European also is just someone like you, is a person like you, and you can be like that person. And I think the reason as to why we have gotten to a point of craving to live like a European, or rather of wanting to live like a European, it has not started now. It started a long time ago. Because if Africa as a continent could be a rich continent today, nobody would be craving to live like a European. I think these people made it happen. Europeans, the white people, they made all this happen. They made all this happen a long time ago, because it is something that has been existing for quite some time.
Yeah.
We being in a state we are today, it is not something that started yesterday. We being in a state we are today, it is not something that has just started, or something that started a few minutes ago or a few hours ago.
All right. So let me
Being in our state we are today, it is something that started a long time ago. A long time ago, and even getting to a point of now people from Africa or Africans want to, or maybe craving to imitate, or rather to live like a European. It is something European they've been building. It's something they've been building for a very long time. That is why even today it is very difficult for us to uproot ourselves from their way of life.
So that is why
their way of life.
That is why I said I think it's not fair to say that yes, it's a leadership problem, but I think part of the changing that needs to be taking place has to do with us as well, our mentality. All right, Kenyan BC is in the queue. Let me hear what Kenyan BC have to contribute to that. All right, Kenyan BC, I'm coming to you, right? But I think as you're speaking there, and what the question that Boom Jungle asked, I think a lot of us as normal citizens, all right, normal people who are not in political power, we have a lot to do with the changing that narrative and breaking free from this oppressive system, that because a lot of our mentality are still caught up in a westernized thing, and that is why when the leaders are doing what they have to do, it's quite easy for them to carry out the agenda of the West, because a lot of our mentality is still westernized. Even if we talk about we talk about being oppressed and stuff, but you see a lot of us, and I include myself, a lot of us who talks about oppression, who talks about the West, standing up to the West, we refuse to let go of the culture of the Western people. It's like we have lost that self-esteem in ourselves and who we are as Africans and Afro descendants. So I'm going to get welcome Kenyan Biz. You can go ahead and make your contribution.
Hello. I don't know if you are getting me right, eh?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Do you know? I wanted to talk about something that my brother Leviticus has said. We want to live like the white people, but I can tell you for free again. Do you know the white people? They they want to live like us Africans. The white people are looking forward to live like us Africans, but they cannot show it directly. So they have their system. There's a system they have put it like they want to live like us, but indirectly. And that's why you see them. They cannot leave Africa. They will just say Africa is poor. Africa has a lot of disease. Africa is like a zoo, but they can never leave Africa alone because they are living like us. Our life is what is keeping them alive. Another thing, uh, when we talk about why we wanna, we have been brainwashed for long, live like them and everything. I can say like this: there is something Ibrahim Traore is doing from Burkina Faso. He is educating the younger generation. And by educating the younger generation, we will create another generation, the coming generation, that we will have to do away with all this, will live in the right way. Because what the white people did when they came back, if you follow the story of King Leopold II of Belgium, when he went to Congo, he sent the missionaries to Congo and told them, go and teach them this and this and this. They know everything because we knew everything. But what you have to do, don't teach the older people or the generation. Go to the children, to the younger ones, so that it's easy to manipulate. So the entire generation, the use of the younger ones. So that's why I always call up our current leaders and everybody Pan-Africanists to teach their children about the culture of Africa, to teach their children about, these children are the one that will change all these things that we are going through. Even if you go in the Bible, we had this young man who went to Egypt. I don't know the name. Was it David? The man who went to Egypt and became and helped Egypt a lot.
Moses.
Was it Moses? Not Moses. There's this young man who was sold by his brothers.
Oh, Joseph.
Joseph. So you see, the generation before Joseph, like his father, had a lot of problems, but the generation of Joseph came to change everything. And that's why we are looking forward for this coming generation, us and the generation that is coming. We need to teach them so that we can disconnect them with this brainwashing from the white people. So white people succeeded to brainwash us because they used the younger generation. So this generation grew just knowing about the white people's stories, white people education, white people everything, because that was a turning point. So they knew what they will do to change or to bend everything. But right now I can say like this. I can tell my brother Leviticus, when we are living like white people, it's because how the change they brought to us. They brought us their language. You can see we speak English because of British. We speak French because of France. We speak their language. There is even some Western countries there, like Central Africa, Burkina Faso, those countries. Some of them are still using the currency of France. It's called CS Franca. They are still using there because these people knew the way of manipulating us all. It's not about religion only. Even I don't know why people focus on religion only, but they changed everything, starting with the religion, education, currency, culture. Now we are fighting to leave their culture, and we left our culture. And yet them themselves, when they come to Africa, they are so happy to see, you know, Maasai culture. They want to go see this deeper culture. But us as Africans, our brains are gone because we are fighting every day to live this culture, to follow their culture. But they are trying to live like us, and that's why they are not leaving Africa. And that's why you hear stories that African man's genes is, you know, is good, and etc. etc.
Sorry, I didn't notice my mic was muted. Greetings, Pedro, all the way from Barbados. Thank you, my dear friend. Leviticus, boom, somebody is trying to locate your YouTube channel. They say they cannot see it on, I can't find Leviticus YouTube channel. Can you put it in the link in the chat? So can you do that for us, please? Put your YouTube channel link in the chat so people can go ahead and subscribe. All right. So thank you very much. So thank you, Boom Junglewood. Leviticus will surely do that. Yes. And that is so true. I think most of what you said, Kenyan Beast, you know, we need to start teaching our children about the African way of things, the African values, the African stuff, because I have been doing it myself, because it is the, you know, it is this generation of that will change this whole problem that we are facing today. What we are doing now as Pan-African people, you know, Kenyan Base, Leviticus, myself, and there are other people worldwide that is doing what we are doing. We are just planting the seed, but it is the next generation that will, you know, ensure that this seed grow and bear fruit, and that is what we are hoping for. Now, the big question of the day. I mean, times are already coming against me. The big question of the day. We are on religion. We are on religion, right? Is Jesus black? Is Jesus black? That is something I want to find out. Is Jesus, what this whole thing about the black Jesus? Is Jesus black? Yeah. Leviticus, are you there? Oh, so okay. Leviticus. Okay. Let me see. All right, so guys, give me a moment. We having a little bit of technical issues there. All right. All right, Kenyan Bis, are you there? You hearing me?
I'm here. I hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to get back Leviticus. Let me see. Something went wrong. All right. I'm not getting Leviticus. Yeah. So, I mean, while you hear Kenyan Beast, I will try to get back Leviticus. What is your whole thoughts about black Jesus? Is Jesus black? Is he white? And when we talk about Jesus, what are we talking about? You know, are we talking about the body, or general speaking?
The history, the story of black Jesus. You know, I can say, we always say that we don't have to talk about the color of Jesus, but if he was the son of a man, if he was born by a woman, he had a race. Of course, he had a tribe, he had a culture, he had a race. So we always talk about the color of Jesus because we want to know who are we worshiping. We want to know him, the truth. You know, we want to trace our root, because when we know the color of Jesus, when we know really who he is, that's where our knowledge starts. But I can say this. The history of the Bible, according to the research that I've gone through and what I've read, blah, 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 the history of the Bible is the history of a black man. And Jesus Christ, or Yeshua was a Jew there. And it's even described in the Bible about his color. So I can say this. The discussion of Jesus' color it was started by someone, so that, you know, it's just a way of, again, confusing us of who we are and, you know, what we are doing. That's what that discussion came in between. Because if Yeshua was a black person, why did they portray him as a white person? And again, I can defend the white people by saying this. I can defend them by saying this. They portrayed Jesus as white because they were the one acting it. You know, if, for example, the Arabs were to act about the Jesus, then he could be an Arab. So we as the black people were the one who, you know, we lacked no knowledge to understand that the people who have acted this movie, they acted these movies, they drew his pictures according to them, according to how they think he is. For example, if I, Leviticus, and you, Afro-Granadian, decide to act this movie of Jesus, we are black, then we will act as black. You get me? But there is a way, because the knowledge and everything that surrounded the acting and everything, we as black people, we took this information personally and thought that this guy who they are acting, or this guy who is there, is Jesus. But them themselves, they just did what they did because the best they knew, according to them, because they are white people. If it's maybe Satan or whoever else, they acted, all of them were white because they are white people.
All right.
That's
So
what,
I see
so
Leviticus
I
is. Go ahead, Kenyan. Bis, finish what you are saying.
I can finish by saying about that. I can finish by saying Jesus Christ is white in the white people. Jesus or Yeshua is black in the black people. But who is this, the real Yeshua or the real Jesus of the Bible? The real Jesus of the Bible, if he was a Jew, and we can trace his community, we can trace his culture, we can trace his tribe, we will know the tribe, we will know the color. I was telling my friend Leviticus one day, I was telling him, if he was born by a woman, then he has a color. Everyone has a race. We cannot avoid this issue of if it's white or black, because even if you tell me, don't focus on whiteness, on blackness, okay. If we have 2 cups of tea, we have coffee, which is black, or we have black tea, and here we have milk tea. Whenever we go somewhere and someone asks us, which kind of tea did you took? I will tell him, I had white coffee, and this one I had black coffee. So we need to know the rest. It's not that we need. It's not that important, but it's important to know which kind or which Jesus.
Okay. Now we have a lot of questions in the comment section and a lot of comments. So let me take it piece by piece, and I will leave because we lost you there for a moment. So let me come back to you. Now we have Pedro from our brother from Barbados. He's asking, can a woman give birth without being impregnated by a male sperm? So what what Pedro is instigating, that the whole you know, event with Mary, what the Bible says, that Mary was conceived by the Holy Ghost. Now, Pedro, Mary was conceived by, it was a supernatural pregnancy, Pedro. But I will leave Leviticus to respond to that.
Oh, am I responding to a question of can a woman give birth without impregnated by a male sperm?
Yes. How this is possible? Because Pedro do not buy the notion that Mary, okay, that gave birth to Jesus, her pregnancy was a supernatural pregnancy. It wasn't anything sexual. So what is your response to that? So Pedro is asking, how can a woman, which is Mary is speaking about, gave birth without being impregnated by a male sperm? Which is
okay. I think he's talking about the birth of Jesus, right?
Yes, he is speaking about the birth of Jesus. So yeah.
Okay. You know, when we talk about the birth of Jesus, we're talking about the it was the name of the Holy Spirit. Okay, and that is how it is written in the Bible. That is according to the Bible.
Yeah.
Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So, if it's about because we are looking at the Bible, at what the Bible says, that it was by the Holy Spirit that Mary got a child on his womb. That is where now the problem comes from, because we don't understand, because it is something that was written that Mary conceived by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So it definitely is a different birth or a different kind of conceiving a child compared to the original one that we know, where a man needs to meet a woman so that they can be able to give a child.
Yeah.
Okay?
Write it down. Yep.
So a woman cannot give birth without having a male sperm in the womb. But we are talking about the birth of Jesus Christ, and when it's on the birth of Jesus Christ, it's different from this one that we are having here or every day, where a man has to meet a woman so they can be able to produce a child.
It's a child, yeah.
On the issue of a black Jesus, there is one thing that I know and I understand for sure. Jesus has a color. I don't know if you agree with me on that. Because this is a child.
I have a that is what I'm trying to. Okay, we have to establish before we get into the color of Jesus.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to understand, and what I do, I will tell you what I personally believe. Okay, I personally believe that Jesus Christ has two nature of himself. He was he had a human being nature. He was human in a man's body, right?
Okay.
And he has a godlike nature. Okay, he even though he was in a man's body, he had the deity of what a God is. So when we talk about the color of Jesus Christ, we have to be very specific. Are we talking about the deity, or are we talking about the human side of him? And I think that we are talking about the human side of him, because we have to understand Jesus Christ wasn't just a man. Jesus Christ was both man and both God. You know, and I mean, even the Bible that you read, you believe in Leviticus says that, even back up that theory that Jesus Christ is both man and both God. All right. So when it comes to the color of Jesus Christ, I believe that the color was a very, if you go to the book of Revelation will tell you the color was a bit bronze-like. His color was a bit bronze-like. It was in between, not too black, not too white, and so it's very hard for me to say, because judging from when he walked among men, and his nationality was, he was a Jew, and when you look at the color of Jewish people, they are very burnt. They have this burnt bronze color, pigmentation. And I believe that was the color of Jesus Christ, not too black, not too white. Jesus Christ was in between. And when it comes to the argument of Jesus being black, I don't oppose it. And at the same time, I would say that, he's neither black, he's neither white. His color is in between. I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion, right? So what the Europeans did, they presented Jesus as white, pale white, right? Very white. That's what the Europeans did. They present him as white, which I condemn. That is the European version of Jesus Christ is false. And at the same time, a lot of the you know, a lot what the black Jesus now, the black Jesus theory that is going around now, where people paint Jesus Christ as black, pure black. That to me is also misleading and false. I think that his color is neither white, neither black. He was in between those pigmentation of color. That is why I would argue and say that, you know, Jesus Christ is for everybody, you know, because he was in between. He was neither black, neither white, you know, because we have to look at the nationality of Jesus Christ. He was Jew. The scripture, I mean, if you are a believer of the scripture is very clear that he was a Jewish man. And when you look at the Jewish people, that was the color of the Jewish people. Okay, Sister Boom, I see her in the queue. Sister Boom, I'm coming to you. So Leviticus, I mean, I'm giving my personal opinion, right? I'm just giving my personal opinion. So Leviticus, I will leave you to respond to that.
Okay. You know, when we are handling the question of the color of Jesus, this is a topic that is very sensitive, and it's a topic that when you want to tackle it,
okay,
you need to be very.
One moment. Let me give Sister Boom the chance to speak, and then you'll stick up in there. Don't forget what you are saying. Sister Boom, welcome again.
Okay, all right.
Sister Boom, are you there? You can go ahead. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. And I'm dealing with feedback, so please let me go, and then I'll can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so something that you said reminds me of how I used to feel about 20 years ago. It sounds like you're conceding that Jesus can be a mulatto, but he cannot be a full Bantu. That is grotesque. And what I was going to ask you to do is if you can do a screen share, pull up the Bible map. And when I was growing up, it was always in my Bible. Now it's not, but so you would have to go circa 1970s or 80s. Pull up the Bible map, put a year to the events in the Bible, and tell me what color those people were.
Okay.
At best, you're going to say they look like Saudi Arabians, which is a mulatto. So
Yeah.
why would God want his son to be mixed instead of black?
Very good question. Very good question. Very good question. You know, can Leviticus, can you tackle that question? Why would God would want? Well, I mean, let me hear what your opinion is, and then I'm going to get to Sister Boom question. So, Sister Boom, thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead. Your mic is muted.
Why would God?
Why would God want his son? Well, as I shared my opinion that I believe Jesus Christ is in between his color, right? When he was walking among men. But so Sister Boom challenged me with that question. Why would God want his son to be mixed than black? You know, why would his son to be mixed and black? Now, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Okay, yeah.
Right. So Sister Boom, I would, before Leviticus respond to that, because I mean, there's a lot of comments in the I'm trying to get to the comments. My answer response to that is that he would want his son to be neither black, neither white, so that he wants to demonstrate he's a God for everyone and not just a particular group of people or sect of people. So go ahead, Leviticus.
Yeah. You know, I can only be able to answer this question if I have an opinion of what is the color of Jesus. First of all, I need to have an opinion of what is the color of Jesus for me to be able to answer that question. So let me try to give out my opinion. Number one, Jesus Christ has a color because anybody who was born by a woman must have a color. So the big question here is, the woman who gave birth to Jesus, was she white or black? That is the big question. Number two, where was Jesus born? We need to start doing some research back, and try to know where Jesus was born, that city that Jesus was born at that time, which kind of people were living at that place.
So where Jesus
Sincerely
was born?
speaking, personally, I cannot tell you if Jesus Christ was black or he was white, because I do not have anything or any evidence that will show me
Right.
Jesus was black or rather Jesus was white.
Okay.
One thing I know is that in the human being form, because Jesus is initially God,
Yeah.
and in a God's form, he is a spirit. He is not a human.
Yeah.
So for him to, he had a reason as to why he had to make himself a man. And now that he made himself a man, now that he was a man, there must be a color that he had. The person we see on the pictures is not Jesus, because that
Yeah.
person we see on the picture is just someone who was able to act the movie of Jesus Christ. This guy has a name. Follow up, you will know the name of that person. At some point, he even complained a long time ago when he was asking, why is it that my pictures are being used in churches and where and all those times? So we just carried that mind because we grew up seeing those pictures. We grew up seeing the picture of a white Jesus. And that is what sticked in our minds. And not something that sticks in your mind, you would think that is it. But that is not the real image of Jesus Christ. Nobody knows the color of Jesus unless those people who have done enough research to be able to tell us that Jesus Christ was black or he was white. One thing I know for sure, Jesus Christ has a color.
Yeah.
We just need to make a research and understand where he was born, which kind of people were living at that place at that kind of time. If the people who are living there were black, we would know Jesus Christ was black. Because if he was born by a woman, a man and a woman, there must be a color that he had. Unless Joseph was black and Mary was white, then we get a confusion of which color Jesus was. Sometimes I think the reason as to why we don't really have the exact color of Jesus Christ, because today a white person will say Jesus Christ was white, except Putin. President Putin is the only person I heard him saying that Jesus was black and he is white. But many white people, they will say that Jesus Christ was white. Black people will say Jesus Christ was black, because everybody is trying to pull the rope on his side. So nobody actually has the real color of Jesus Christ. And I think this happened with a reason. Because maybe the color of Jesus was hidden so that people could not have that divide within themselves. Because God, Jesus is God, and God is a representation of everybody. A representation of a white person, of a black person. Jesus himself, he is God. God is love. When God is love, he loves everybody. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, if you wake up one day and realize that Jesus was white, what will come into your mind? You black people, you'll feel like now that Jesus was white, we are maybe we are they are special from us. If a white person wakes up one morning and realize that Jesus was black, he will feel like, why is it that he was black and not white? And that is why everybody is trying to pull the rope on his side. This is where me and my brother Kenyan Beast, we get differences. Anytime we discuss something about Jesus Christ, I tell him that it does not really matter the color of Jesus. Because number one, after knowing the color of Jesus, after understanding he was black, or rather he was white, it doesn't add anything. Because the life of Christian, of a believer, not a Christian, the life of a believer, it needs believing in the God who is a spirit, not who is a human. Okay? Because even today, He is no more. He is a spirit. So we are worshiping the God who is a spirit. So knowing the color of Jesus is very difficult.
Difficult,
He says
very much.
that knowing is important.
Yeah.
But I say knowing does not really matter.
Yeah.
So it is difficult for us to understand. You may not know. I may not know. Everybody wants him to be his color. The whites want him to be his color. The black wants him to be his color. So one thing I know is that Jesus Christ, as long as he was a human being, he had a color. But that color is what is difficult for us to know. We have to make a research, go back, find where he was born, which kind of people are living there, so that we may be able to understand which color was Jesus.
And brother, you I don't know, you speak a book, you know, and you hit the nail on his head, and I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you on this. The fact that we are arguing and we're trying to figure out the color of Jesus Christ is to show us that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It is not important, because whether Jesus is Christ is Jesus, is black, or it's all distraction. I think, you know, the white Jesus was a distraction by the colonizers, okay? And now we have this thing going around with the black Jesus. That's also a distraction by the colonizers. It's a distraction, you know. We think we invest in much of our attention on something that doesn't matter than we addressing the real issues of the thing. Because my question is, okay, if Jesus Christ is black, you know, or I'm not arguing if he's black or not, but let's say he's black, what's next? How will it profit us? How will it get us out of the situation that we are in now?
I want you to listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were talking about religion, when we were starting the show, I told you there is a believer and there is a Christian. There is an Islam, and there is a believer. Believers fall under the same circle. People from the religions fall under the same circle. Let me ask you a very simple question. Why do you think Islam is people? Because we say, some people will tell you Islamic is the right religion. Others will tell you Christianity is the right religion. So which one is the right religion? One thing I know is that God is one. And when you become a believer, you become more influential compared to someone who is in a certain religion. Because being in a certain religion, people will just know that Afro-Grenadian is a Christian, or rather Afro-Grenadian is an Islam. But we have the most important part of being a believer. I was on with someone in my show a few days ago, and he told me, anything you believe in, if you believe in a tree, if you believe in a cow, answers will come, but there is a day of judgment. Now, you know, we need to focus on Jesus, or rather on God, who is a spirit. Because now, today, you wake up in the morning, you get an understanding that Jesus is black. What does it add in your life? Does it give you, if you are a white person and you realize Jesus was white, does it raise your level of spirituality? Does it make your prayers being answered easily? Okay. If you wake up and realize that Jesus was black, does it raise your level of spirituality? Does it make easy for your prayers to be answered easily? It does not change anything. It does not add anything. Let us learn to worship a God who is a spirit. God is a represents a white person. God represents a black person. God is love. He loves a black person. He loves a white person. He loves an Islam. He loves a Christianity. He loves everybody. And that is why he calls everybody into the kingdom. So Jesus Christ, or rather God, is a spirit. When we worship, let us worship God who is a spirit. Okay? Because even when
Because
we are worshiping him, we are
our-
supposed to worship him
our
in
ancestors,
spirit. Okay?
our ancestors never spent wasted time arguing about the color of the God they worshipped. They
Exactly.
worship God as a spirit, and that's just about it. And the colonizers realized they knew who God is. They came and distract them with this white Jesus, you know, and now they are playing a more subtle and crafty tactics on us now, bringing the black Jesus, so that they can distract us from the real issues that is oppressing us. You know, we sitting here arguing about the color of God, and they busy doing the business. So we you know, I think as black people we need to wise up and get away from this color argumentation of Jesus and who black and white. You know, all right, Sister Boom is back in the queue. So I hope, okay, Sister Boom, I see you. Let me respond to Pedro. Pedro says Joseph didn't have sex. Okay, so Pedro, I have Pedro. If you want to give your input, we have the link here. You can dial in. All right, Sister Boom dials in and she mutes her camera. If you want to do that, you can mute your camera. Let me hear you. All right, Pedro, if you have something to say. Sister Boom, you said Julius Caesar was white and Genghis Khan was a Mughal. Okay, what color was Hannibal? When it comes to African history, many Africans will say Europeans were doing the work. Okay. She also went on to say during the time Jesus walked, so if they are more comfortable claiming him, let them have him. All right. Okay, so Sister Boom is back on. Sister Boom, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hearing you.
Okay, so there's a few points that I heard, and I listen to all types of Bible scholars as I've come up under
Sister,
the
just hold on,
influence of all types of
yeah, Sister,
religion.
hold on.
So
Sister,
to me,
hold on
it
there.
doesn't sound like either one of you know the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament, number one. Number two, tell me, what is the highest accomplishment an African man has done on the record? The reason that I ask is because when you concede that of the possibility that God on earth was colored African, when you say, no, that probably didn't happen and it doesn't matter, then everybody can look at the black race as having no significance or importance on the planet, which is why you are dominated, why people can manipulate you, and why you don't like yourself. So please tell me the most powerful black man in history.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sister Boom. So, Leviticus, can you respond? Would you like to respond to that? Did you hear her? Did you hear?
I didn't hear her clearly.
Okay, I wonder what's the issue. You're not hearing her clearly. All right. Let me see. Okay. Sister Boom, I brought you back on because I want to hear the question you asked because he didn't hear the question clear. Okay, she's typing it. So that's the question she asked. Who is the most powerful, significant black man in history? That's the question she's asking.
Okay, all right. Most powerful, significant black man in history, unless we make a research, we might be able to know because we have many black men who were able maybe to do great things in Africa. and they are known globally. And I don't know how powerful, or maybe powerful in which way is she asking? Maybe if I could be able to know powerful in which way, because we have many black men who are in history globally. They are being talked about. They are even in books. Yeah.
Yeah. So she did give us the answer to her question. She said Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela, really?
Sister Boom. Okay, she said no. She said no. Okay, Sister Boom, I'm going to bring you back on. What?
And that is why I asked.
Yeah, just
Powerful in which way? Most influential. Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear
In
me?
which way?
okay. So
Can you-
can you Sister Boom, go ahead. Speak.
Okay. White men have a reputation.
One moment, please. Can you hear her clearly, Leviticus? I want to make sure you're hearing her clearly. Can you hear Sister Boom clearly?
Can you hear me, Leviticus?
Yeah. Wait a little.
Can you hear me?
Okay, let me. Leviticus, can you hear? Can you hear? Are you hearing us? Are you okay? We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Leviticus, are you there? Okay, so he will be back. I guess he's rebooting his system. All right.
Hello. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes, Sister Boom, just one moment, please. Let me he's rebooting his system, so let's give him a few sec. All right, let me make sure he's in the queue. Just one moment, please. Okay, just bear with us. Remain in the studio. All right, just bear with us. All right, so I'm trying to get back Leviticus in the queue. All right. Let's see if it's here. All right, are you hearing me, Leviticus? Are you there? Your mic is muted. All right. Okay. Just give me a little minute. All right, just give me a few minutes. We will thank you guys for joining wherever you're watching me from. We have a little bit of technical difficulties, so give me a few minutes as we will be right back. All right, just give me a few minutes. You hear me clearly? Are you hearing me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, Boom Jungle, Sister Boom.
I think the network is wavy a little bit, but I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear Sister Boom?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make a statement, accuse you of something, and then ask a question. And so when I'm done with the question, you'll know I'm done speaking. Feedback issues. The white man is considered the most powerful man on the planet. I don't know what power is, but he is the most powerful. The black man rarely gets credit besides being a good athlete or having, something superficial and ridiculous. on the record. Okay. There's a movement that is happening that are Bible scholars are saying, review this Bible. It is a black man's history, excuse me, an African history. Please review the Bible. Yahusha, Jesus, is black. Okay. When you don't take the opportunity to say, that sounds like a good idea, but instead go on a platform and hoo-hoo and ha-ha about it doesn't matter and you don't know what color he is, when there's a group of people, including some white people, who are telling you that you were duped, then it sounds like you have an issue. You can tell me what that issue is. My question was, if Jesus is not black, tell me who the most powerful and influential black or African man is on the record in history.
Okay. We have African, just like you have said, that white men are considered the most powerful people on the earth. Maybe on the face of the earth, that white people are considered the most powerful. And you said clearly that you do not know powerful in which way. And therefore, that is where now we also want to know. Because if we are talking about black men, or rather the most powerful black men or something like that, we have black men who are powerful. We have the likes of Martin Luther King. We have, though maybe we have a lot of, we have many of them. There is the big, something like, sometimes when we are asked, or maybe we talk about maybe the power, we don't know, because we cannot compare a white man, even the power they are talking about, with maybe the power of Jesus Christ. Because when you're talking about the power of Jesus, we are in the brackets, we are talking about God. So if it's about, because when African men, or rather African people, when they do maybe great things, they are not spoken about. And that is why you'd realize that many African people, they are not seen, unless those ones who just came out and they just had to be seen through all means. Okay. And so that is why you'd realize that maybe white men, they are calling themselves the most powerful people on the face of the earth. And I can tell you for a fact that the power they are bragging with, or rather the power they are claiming they are powerful, they are the most powerful people, they were able to be to have, or rather to retain that power, because they stepped on Africans to climb on a tree. They stepped on Africans when they were climbing on a tree. And that is why right now, and even today, when they say they're the most powerful people on the face of the earth, we can be able to agree. Now, we have Africans, the likes of Martin Luther King, the likes of Rosa, the likes of someone just mentioned.
All right, so we having some technical difficulties.
Okay, and so I don't know powerful in which way, because if we are comparing with Jesus Christ, because when you talk about Jesus, we're talking about God. So even a white man cannot be compare himself with Jesus Christ, because when we are talking about Jesus, we are talking about God. So if we can say maybe if Jesus was black, that is the only powerful man in the face of the earth. Maybe, okay, if we're talking about Jesus Christ, if Jesus Christ is in this conversation, and if Jesus was black in color, then we would say Jesus Christ is the most powerful black man on the face of the earth. It means we are comparing with the white man, because they are also calling themselves the most powerful people on the face of the earth. It cannot be a discussion, because now when we are talking about maybe power, or maybe powerful men, or powerful people. We talk about white people and black people. We have black people who like they had power. Okay, they didn't have had power because we know white men are in power and they're even controlling black men. Okay, so it is very difficult, even if a white man has got maybe he's capable, or rather he has got potentials of doing some things, he may not be able to do it because white people are on our heads already and they're guiding us. They are actually telling us what to do. They're leading us in one way or the other. They're manipulating us. They are into our systems. Okay, and so it is very, very, very difficult to talk about, to say if Jesus was black, he is the most powerful black man. Jesus was a man when he was on earth, but Jesus was a spirit. He was God. Okay, so that man who was here on the earth was God. So if we are talking about that, we cannot compare actually the power of a white man and the power of Jesus if Jesus would be a black man. And that is why we find it very difficult to understand if Jesus was black or Jesus was white. Okay? If Africa
All right, so we have some technical difficulties there again. We're losing Leviticus. Leviticus, can you hear me? All right, so guys, we will have to bring this conversation to a close because I think it's always a sensitive topic when we're speaking about religion, right? It's always sensitive. We can all agree on a lot of things, but when it comes to religion, that's where a lot of us have different. Religion is very personal to us, and we have different beliefs. We have different take when it comes to spiritual things. So I think we will have to bring this to a close. Let me try to get back Leviticus so he can give his final words. And if there's anyone in the comment section, I want to thank you, Boom Jungle Wood, very much for participating, dialing. Thank you very much, very, very much. You made the program very special. Thank you very much for that. Even though we don't agree on some things when it comes to this whole controversial thing when it comes to white Jesus and black Jesus. But the most important thing is, we are all in this fight together for one common good, right? We are all fighting the good fight. We are all in this together. All right. So as I always say, we shouldn't allow our differences when it comes to religion or spirituality to divide us. All right. So thank you very much, Boom Jungle Wood. I want to thank Pansy Scale. I want to thank Pedro. Thank you, my dear brother, for that, participating and all. Yeah, and I want to thank the panelists, Kenyan Beast and Leviticus. Black Geo, thank you for stopping by, my dear brother. Yeah, for giving us a shout out. All right, so I'm trying to get back Leviticus. It's not here. All right. So let me see if I can get him to come back. Let me see if it's on. All right. All right, so it seems as though Leviticus is experiencing some serious technical difficulties. So guys, I want to thank you all. The golden rule is the most important thing we can do for Jesus, no matter his color. Amen. That's right. That's right, Boom Jungle Wood. Religion is a tough subject. Thanks for letting me chime in. Yes, Boom Jungle Wood. It's a tough subject. Whenever we talk about religion, we will debate. We will have differences, because we all have different opinions about when it comes to spirituality. Spirituality and politics is very sensitive topics. Very, very sensitive. These are two things people will never find common grounds on: religion and politics. But we cannot allow this to divide us. All right. Okay. So because I see that he's there. All right. I'm trying to get him. I don't want to end the program in an abrupt manner. without him giving his last words. All right, but I want to thank everyone in the comment section. Thank you very much for participating. All right, thank you very, very much for participating. Thank you all. I really do appreciate it. All right. Okay. There. You there? Are you hearing me? All right. Leviticus, are you there? If you're speaking, your mic is muted. All right. Leave. Okay. All right. So, Leviticus, are you there? Hello, my brother, are you there? Are you there? Hello?
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I could hear your voice. I think we need to bring it to a close now, so I will let you have your last words on what we spoke about today.
Okay. As I was saying, my network is a little bit low. So as I was saying, you know, when it comes to the issue of powerful men, as Sister Boom just asked, you know, Jesus Christ cannot be in this figure, or rather in this position. When we are talking about the power, unless we are talking about another power, because the power of Jesus is as equal to the power of God, and that is I mean, a little bit big. So unless we compare the power we have as human beings, so white men compared to black men, who is the most powerful black man? Because the way I understood Sister Boom, I think I understood him in a way that Jesus Christ is black. And so if Jesus Christ is black, he is the most powerful black man under the face of the earth. Okay? And so if Jesus Christ is not black, then there is no any other powerful black man under the face of the earth. So it means he is comparing Jesus Christ as a black having power compared to a white man as a white, because white men call themselves the most powerful people on the earth. Okay? And so white men are powerful because they were able to climb on, as they used as a ladder to climb up the tree without us knowing. So we understood and we got the knowledge after already they are on top of the tree. And so we couldn't be able, and that is why right now we are struggling so much to climb the tree ourselves. It is very difficult for us to get on top of the tree because we don't have the ladder themselves. The ladder they had was us, and now we need to use our own power, not having anybody to use to climb to the tree. So we are using our means to climb the tree. That is why we have the Pan-Africanists. But I'm telling you the truth, we have people in Africa who are very great. We have people who in Africa that are very powerful. Like if we want to compare human power, let us not put aside a godly power. We want to compare human power. I'm telling you the truth. You walk out here, you'll find people who are very powerful and they are black men. It is only that these white people, they are already on our heads. Even if we are powerful, we need to use them to come out to show out our capabilities and to show out our potentials. But themselves, they cannot allow us to show that potentials out, because the moment we begin showing our potentials, it is a threat to them. So anytime they feel or they see a black man coming out, they tend to close that person, or rather pull that person down, push that person down, so they cannot be able to be seen, okay, on the world. But we have great people even in their lands, in a white man land. Go there, you'll find black men in a white man lands. They're doing jobs there, they're working there, they're making those lands grow. Okay, you find out. Even there was a time I was talking about this issue. I talked about football. Talk about a country like France. You go to a country like France, you will find their national team. It is only black men who are playing in that team. Black men. And that team has even gotten to an extent of lifting a World Cup. And it is 90% of their players, they are black men. What does that mean? It means black people are capable. Black people are powerful. But we need to use these people to show out our powers. We cannot show it ourselves because they are already on top of us. It is like they have the key to the house that we want to enter. So without going through them and beg them to give us the key, we will sleep outside. Are you getting my point? So powerful men, powerful black men are there. The problem is they are not yet seen. We start talking about the likes of Martin Luther King and many other people. In Africa, we had people like Nelson Mandela. In Africa, we had many other people. We can mention them, okay? But at the end of the day, we are not powerful. White Europeans, white man's land, Europeans, they are powerful compared to us. Why? Because they are rich. They have everything they can have. They have and you know, every power they have, the power they are having right now, the power they contain, we can say they have power. That power they contain, that power, they got the power through us. So if I am the man who has been able to make you powerful, it means I am powerful than you. But because you went ahead of me, you are blocking me from becoming the powerful man that I am supposed to be.
Well said, well said, well said.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. You know, I want to thank you, those of you who have participated also in the comment section. But guys, all good things must come to an end. We will have a part 2 of that, you know. And I was supposed to have another guest with me, but you know, he got an emergency call and he was unable to join. But we will continue on the discussion, not only of Black Jesus and white Jesus, but also reparations. You know, it's an ongoing discussion. So we will continue on reparations, and you know, there are other topics that we need to touch on. So thank you guys. Don't forget. Let me make sure I say the right thing this time. I don't want to. All right. African live stream. Okay, so subscribe to African live stream. Please, please, please. You know, it's Leviticus channel, YouTube channel. And also I want to thank, all right, Kenyan Beast. I want to thank all those who have made this live today possible. Again, religion is always a debateful topic, always sensitive, but we must find common grounds. All right. So guys, thank you. My name is Afro Grenadian Ambassador. I am coming live from Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik. Good morning, good night, good afternoon. Until next time. God bless you.